Hey, Stephen E. here on how to be a New York Times bestseller. Before I begin, I just want to let you know, before you hire anybody to do any kind of book marketing for you, ask them how many books have they sold personally. Not how much money they made on the back end and all that, how many books they sold. Because nowadays, I went down to San Diego and everybody's a coach down there, a life coach or author in San Diego. But now I'm seeing that most people, everybody's like now becoming book coaches because they made maybe an Amazon bestseller, they sold a couple thousand books, and they get on stage and then people are flopping to them because they're up on that stage at a seminar. But ask them how many books they sold. So get out of that. I just want to let you know I've sold more books than 99% of people on the planet. All right, so I talk from experience. We're talking about New York Times bestseller. I'll tell you right now, New York Times bestseller is just a game. That's it. It's just a game that, especially in the self-help or this business arena, that people play the game. Do you know the book The Alchemist? Well, I was told by a well-known speaker that even though that book sold millions, like over 50 million books, it never became a New York Times bestseller. So basically, how do you become a New York Times bestseller? Most people pay their way to become a New York Times bestseller. Yes, they pay their way. But if you're playing professional baseball and you have to learn how to play the professional rules, 3 strikes, you're out. So in my opinion, if you're writing a book, make it a New York Times bestseller. Absolutely. And make sure you have your back-end business ready. Because if you make it a New York Times bestseller, what happens, you're going to be a New York Times bestseller for 1 week. After that week, the book is dead, it dies, no more sales. So basically, how do you become a New York Times bestseller? Well, I was walking down the street with some pretty high producers in the Hollywood industry, and we're walking down Sunset in Hollywood, and they looked at all the stars, you know, the stars in Hollywood, and they say, do you know how to get a star in Hollywood? And I'm like, well, how? And they said, well, you buy it. That's how people get stars. Celebrities get stars in Hollywood. They buy their star in Hollywood. And maybe if you're a James Dean, you got your own star. But if you walk down Hollywood Boulevard, like every 20 names, you don't even hear that name, right? You only hear maybe John Wayne or somebody big that you know that name. Well, what happens, there's a company that calls them and says, hey, you want a star next to James Dean? Oh, that one's for $1 million bucks, and you get your star and you show all your friends that you have a star down in Hollywood. The same thing with New York Times bestseller. Most people buy their way to become a New York Times bestseller, and what happens, bookstores, they actually have a list each and every month that they're going to report to New York. They're going to send this list in, and if your book's on there and they're reporting your book, then your book's going to become a New York Times bestseller without even selling many copies. I mean, I'm maybe like a couple thousand copies now. It's ridiculous how to become a New York Times bestseller, but you have to play the game like the big publishers if you're going to get your book out to millions of people. Because what does New York Times bestseller do? It gets you on big time media. It gets you on CNN. It gets you on Ellen. It gets you out there. So if you want to know more secrets about New York Times bestseller, look down my phone number and I will tell you personally how to become a New York Times bestseller, all the BS behind it, why you need to do it or why you shouldn't do it, and give me a call. And again, everybody's becoming book marketers. Everybody's becoming life coaches. You could put your name on that. But again, when you hire somebody, ask them how many books they've sold. Because I'll tell you, I went through this whole industry, the seminars, the webinars, the teleseminars, worked with some of the best names in this industry, and I learned all the BS in this industry. So I'm the guy, I'm gonna share all the truth about book publishing, how to become bestsellers, how to become Amazon, how to become New York. We made over 1,000 bestsellers. I'm one of the pioneers, the beginning guy that started doing bestsellers. With anthology books, everybody's doing compilation books. I'm the guy that created the anthology concept and went out and got over 1,700 people to give me $5,000 and put over 30 books so called Wake Up, Live the Life You Love. We did over 2 million books we sold. So again, I'm out there showing from experience that I teach by experience. I take care of my customers. I act as you're my best friend, customer service, and I really share the truth about the speaking author industry. So give me a call and let's do some business together. Let me help you get your book out to the world. Let me get your book out, your purpose behind your book out to the world. And that's what I want to do for you. So anyways, have a good day. And again, I hope you hear some of my excitement because I have so much passion to share in this whole book industry, because most people out there doing books, they have actually, I don't even say, why are they even doing it? They're not even helping people learn to sell books. They're actually teaching people how to do their marketing systems, and they sold like a couple thousand of their own books, or maybe 50,000, but they've been in business for 30 years. Come on, if I was in business for 30 years and only sold 50,000 books, that's pretty pathetic. So anyways, I'm here to teach you how to do a New York Times bestseller or Amazon or about publishing. So give me a call and let's talk. Have a good day.